Good morning. With our collective 5 decades of stock market experience in India, there is one most regretful word we've come across when we meet investors, and that is if. If you had invested in Apple in 2002, $100 that would have become $5,500 in 2016. Our problem is that how do you recognize the apple before it becomes the apple? Right. So if you go to the problem framework out here, according to the World Federation of Exchanges, close to 55% of the listed companies across the globe are completely under-researched. In India, the problem is much more graver. It's 90% of the companies. If you go down and deep onto the impact of this particular problem towards the retail side, close to 45% of the investors are still holding under-researched companies into their portfolio. In India, that is 87%. If you go on the institutional side, the sell side of brokers, the asset managers, the banks who are advising their clients, they run an active ratio of close to 20% every year. You are researching, say, 200, 300 companies, the client portfolio holds an X amount of companies. So there are one of the two answers that you have to give the client. Either you consolidate these holdings into the research that the institution offers, or else they don't have any research on that. This takes us to the solution that we looked at together around a year and a half back. So our solution is simply covering 100% of the listed companies. We run close to 500 algorithms, which are basis fundamental and technical analysis, and we evaluate close to 30 million data points on a daily basis, researching every single listed company in India as we are talking right now. To take you into an example, let's take a company which is close to $1 billion market cap in India, fairly under-researched. There is not much research that you find on this company. The 3 dots that you see out there are the result of all the algos that are running out there. The first is quality. How is the quality of the company within the industry? And you see the quality is excellent out here. Here we take the last 5 years fundamental analysis of the company in terms of how it is done versus the industry. You then move on to the valuation. How is the current company's current valuation? And you see that's very attractive. And the final dot is how's the financial trend of the company, where we analyze the last quarter results over the last 5 quarters and figure out if we can see any trends out there. Now, if you see on the quality specifically, there are 4 factors we look at. We look at growth, size of the company, efficiency, and the corporate governance of the company. If you look at valuations, we look at historical valuation of the company per se. We look at enterprise value to EBITDAs. We look at PEG, the growth ratios. And if you look at the financial trends, we exactly tell you what is working, what's not working with the company's current financials. On every company, all 4,000 companies, you can see a correlation graph of how our 5-year rating has gone versus how the stock price has moved vis-a-vis the 5-year rating that you got. 87% of the companies are completely correlated out here. Now, if you go, so what we did was we looked at client profiling. We created portfolios, and we call them the Mojo stocks. And we compared the returns of these portfolios to the relevant indice and the top 3 mutual funds in the country. Now, if you see out here, the all stocks portfolio, which is a cap agnostic portfolio, is delivered close to 1,300% on an absolute return basis versus the indice of close to 80% and the top 3 mutual funds of 170. You go down onto diversified large cap, and action is happening typically on the small cap and micro caps out there where you have a 4,000% return that is coming out. Unluckily for us, because of insider trading policies of the Securities and Exchange Board, we can't invest in these companies. So, but all our investors typically look at these companies on a weekly basis because your valuation can change, your current financial trend can change, and there is an automatic selling and buying in that is happening out here. Moving on, you can go onto the portfolio section. You store your portfolios out here. For every client, we create a special index. Just to give you an example, if I have 20 stocks in my portfolio, out of which maybe 7 stocks are small caps, maybe 5 are mid caps, and the remaining are large caps, which index do I track to? So every client has his own composite index calculated at a NAV basis so that he can track his portfolio. And We do detailed 7-dot analysis on the portfolio, as you see out here. How's the quality of the portfolio? If there's a diversification problem, can you get into liquidity problems when you try and liquidate a large amount on your portfolio? How is the current financial trend of the portfolio and the valuation of your portfolio? All of this can be optimized. You can optimize your portfolio, and you can even do buying and selling into your portfolio. In terms of the solution that we're doing, we have two facets of the solution that we've started implementing. We've done B2B implementation in India with large financial institutions, brokers, media houses, and banks, as we are talking. We launched our service around 9 months back, and we are today tracking on a revenue of 1.5 million US. Our expected next year revenue is close to 5 million US. Our first client in India was Bloomberg, where we implemented our whole research into their platform. There are 3 possible implementations that we're doing out here. One is, if you are a large-size broker and say you're looking at 500 companies of your own research, the remaining set of company research goes from Marketsmojo and gets integrated into their platform. This can be for their dealers, for internal. This can be for their clients, and also for portfolio restructuring of clients who are holding out-of-research companies that these institutions cover. The second piece is the dealer network piece, where we are implementing and making the dealer smarter by giving and implementing the API solution onto the local CRM, where they can look at the client portfolio and they can just now analyze, even the under-researched companies out there. The construct of the portfolio and the construct of the product is done in a way that you have the raw data feed that comes in, and then there is the set of algos that are running out there. When we presented our last Finovate session in Hong Kong, we got a lot of Asian queries that if they give us the Asia data, can we implement the solution for the Asian markets? The answer is a 90-day period that we already started working. Our objective out here is to talk to institutions and see if you guys want a similar solution for your local markets. Thank you so much.